Chosen ones, your vibration is reborn stronger after the dark night of the soul. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when the world as they know it collapses. Everything they once believed in, everything they held onto for security, crumbles into dust. This is not a punishment. This is not misfortune. This is the initiation, the sacred destruction that must take place before the soul can truly awaken. If you have been through suffering so deep it felt like the universe had abandoned you, if you have walked through darkness so thick it swallowed every ounce of light, then know this: you were never being punished. You were being prepared. The dark night of the soul is not for the weak. It does not come to those who are meant to live ordinary lives. It comes to those who have been called to something greater. It is a spiritual fire that burns away every illusion, every false identity, every belief that was never truly yours. It strips you of everything you once clung to, leaving you standing alone in the void, forced to face the raw truth of your existence. And in that moment, you are given a choice. Do you surrender to despair, or do you allow yourself to be reborn?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Most people will never understand what you have been through. They will see only the external struggles, not the silent battles you fought within your own mind, not the nights you spent questioning everything, not the moments when you wondered if you could even go on. But here is the truth. The fact that you are still here, the fact that you are still searching, still seeking, still rising, proves something that most people will never realize. You are not just someone who has suffered. You are someone who has survived, and survival was never the end goal, it was only the beginning. Because after the dark night of the soul, something extraordinary happens. Your vibration does not just return to what it was before, it is reborn, stronger, purer, more powerful than ever. The old version of you had to die so that your true self could emerge. You no longer vibrate at the frequency of fear. You no longer operate from a place of attachment. You have been broken open, but in that breaking you have become limitless. But here is where the real test begins. Many chosen ones, after emerging from the darkness, feel lost. They do not recognize themselves. The things they once valued seem meaningless. The people they once surrounded themselves with no longer resonate. They feel as if they exist in between worlds, no longer fully part of the old, but not yet fully grounded in the new. If this is where you are now, do not fear. This is not the end of your journey. This is the transition, the space between death and rebirth. You must now learn to trust yourself in ways you never have before. The universe has stripped away everything that was false, but it will not hand you the answers. You must now step into your own power and create from nothing. You must allow yourself to move forward, even when the path is unclear. You must listen to the voice within, even when it contradicts everything the world has told you. And above all, you must understand that the person you are becoming is far greater than the person you once were. So now I ask you, can you let go of the fear of the unknown? Can you trust that the darkness you endured was not the end, but the gateway to something unimaginable? Can you embrace the fact that you are no longer the same person who entered the fire, that you have been transformed? And there is no going back, because once you say yes to this path, everything changes. The world begins to respond to you differently. People who once drained your energy begin to fall away. Opportunities that once seemed impossible begin to appear. Your intuition sharpens. Your presence becomes magnetic. You are no longer moving through life unconsciously, you are creating it, shaping it, bending reality itself to match your vibration. But this power comes with responsibility. You cannot return to the old ways of thinking, the old patterns of fear and doubt. You cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You cannot pretend to be the person you used to be just to fit into a world that no longer aligns with you. The dark night of the soul did not just happen so you could survive, it happened so you could ascend. And now the only question that remains is this: will you step into the power that has been waiting for you all along? You are no longer who you were now. The world must catch up to your new vibration. Once you emerge from the dark night of the soul, something profound happens. The world around you no longer feels the same. It looks the same, the people are the same, the places are the same, but something is undeniably different. And that difference is you. You have been reborn, stripped of the illusions that once controlled you. Your vibration is no longer tied to your past, your fears, or the expectations of others. You are no longer playing by the same rules. But here is where the challenge begins, because while you have changed, the world has not. You begin to notice that the things that once entertained you now feel empty. Conversations that once felt meaningful now seem shallow. Relationships that once defined you now feel misaligned. It's not that the world has suddenly lost its magic, it's that you are now operating on a different frequency. You are no longer vibrating at the level of survival, of fear, of attachment. You have stepped into something higher, something purer, something undeniable. And because of this, you will start to see what most people cannot. You will see the unconscious patterns that people live in, the cycles they repeat without question. You will see how fear controls them, how they cling to distractions, how they avoid facing themselves at all costs. You will see that most people are not living, they are merely existing, trapped in a reality they never chose, following paths that were never truly theirs. And at first, this realization will feel isolating. You may feel as though you no longer belong anywhere, as though you are floating between two worlds, one foot in the old, one foot in the new. But this is where your true test begins. Because now you have a choice. Do you shrink yourself back down to fit into the world you have outgrown? Or do you stand firm in your new vibration and allow the world to adjust to you? This is where many chosen ones falter. They feel the pull of the past, the temptation to return to what was comfortable, even if it no longer resonates. They fear losing people, fear being misunderstood, fear walking a path that few will ever take. But here is what you must understand. The world will always try to pull you back into your old vibration, not because it wants to harm you, but because it does not yet recognize who you have become. People will project their fears onto you. They will question your transformation, not because they are truly curious, but because your evolution forces them to confront their own stagnation. They will accuse you of changing as if remaining the same was some kind of virtue. They will try to remind you of who you used to be, as if your past self was the limit of your potential. This is where many chosen ones fall back into old patterns, allowing guilt, doubt, and nostalgia to tether them to a version of themselves that no longer exists. But you must remember, you did not go through the darkness just to return to the person you were before. You went through it to become something more. And once you accept that, once you stop seeking validation from those who cannot see what you see, everything changes. You begin to attract people who resonate with your new vibration, people who see the world as you do, people who are also rising. You realize that you do not need to force the old world to understand you. The right people, the right opportunities, the right energy will find you simply because you are now aligned with it. You are no longer chasing, you are magnetizing. But this shift requires unwavering trust. Trust that letting go of what no longer serves you will not leave you empty, but will make space for something greater. Trust that the loneliness you sometimes feel is not a punishment, but a sacred space where you are being prepared for what is coming. Trust that every time you choose to honor your highest vibration, you are stepping closer to the life that was meant for you all along. And here is where the real magic happens. The longer you stay true to your new vibration, the more the world around you begins to shift. People who once dismissed you now feel drawn to your presence. Opportunities you once struggled to find now flow effortlessly. The things you once desired now seem to seek you out. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is the power of alignment. When you vibrate at your highest frequency, reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. So now I ask you, will you trust your new vibration, even when the world does not yet recognize it? Will you stand firm in your transformation, even when others question it? Will you allow yourself to receive the life that has been waiting for you, instead of clinging to the one you have outgrown? Because the only thing standing between you and your highest reality is your willingness to let go of everything that no longer matches your vibration. The shift has begun now. The universe aligns to your new frequency in ways you never expected. Something incredible happens when you stop chasing, stop forcing, and simply allow yourself to exist at your new vibration. The universe, which once seemed indifferent to your struggles, begins to move in ways you never imagined. It is not that the universe was ever against you, it was simply waiting for you to align. It was waiting for you to shed the fear, the doubt, the attachments to things that no longer resonated. It was waiting for you to stop seeking validation outside of yourself and start embodying the frequency of what you truly desire. And now that you have stepped into that space, the shift has begun. You start noticing synchronicities everywhere. Numbers repeating, conversations aligning perfectly with thoughts you just had, people appearing in your life at precisely the right moment. These are not coincidences. These are signs that you are no longer moving against the current, you are flowing with it. Before you had to struggle, push, and fight to make things happen. Now things begin to unfold effortlessly, as if reality itself is bending to your energy. And in truth, it is. Most people live in resistance. They cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They hold on to relationships, jobs, identities that keep them trapped in cycles of suffering. They operate from a place of survival, believing that they must fight for every little thing, believing that struggle is the natural state of existence. But you have transcended that. You have seen the truth, that life is not meant to be a battle, but a dance, that the universe does not work against you, but through you, that the external world is simply a reflection of your internal state. And now that your internal state has changed, the world around you is transforming to match it. But this new reality requires something from you. It requires trust. It requires patience. It requires the ability to stand in the unknown without grasping for control. Because even though things are shifting, even though the universe is aligning, there will still be moments where your old fears try to pull you back. There will still be moments when your mind questions whether this is real, whether you are truly on the right path. And in those moments, you must remember, doubt is the language of the old world. Fear is the echo of your past self. You are no longer that person. You no longer vibrate at that frequency. Do not let old energy dictate your new reality. As you continue to ascend, you will notice that the people around you respond differently. Some will be drawn to your energy in ways they cannot explain. They will feel your presence before you even speak. They will sense something powerful, something unshakable, something rare. They may not understand it, but they will feel it. And then there will be others, those who feel threatened by your growth, those who try to pull you back into old dynamics, those who resist your evolution because it forces them to confront their own stagnation. Do not take this personally. Understand that your vibration is now acting as a mirror. It is reflecting truth, and not everyone is ready to see it. But here is where your true power lies. You do not need to react. You do not need to explain yourself, defend yourself, or prove anything to anyone. Your energy speaks louder than words. Your alignment is your proof. The more you focus on maintaining your frequency, the more the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences will naturally gravitate toward you. You do not need to chase what is meant for you will find you. And now, something even deeper begins to happen. Your intuition sharpens. You no longer second-guess your instincts. You no longer ignore the subtle nudges from the universe. You start to see the patterns, the energetic connections that weave through reality. You realize that every thought you think, every emotion you hold, every belief you carry is shaping the world around you. And with this realization comes the greatest shift of all. You stop reacting to life and you start creating it. This is where you step into your true power. This is where you realize that you are not just a participant in this reality, you are a co-creator of it. And with that understanding, there is no limit to what you can manifest. The only question that remains is, will you fully embrace this new reality, or will you hesitate, allowing old fears to delay what is already meant for you? Because the universe is already aligning. The shift has already begun. The only thing left to do is step forward without fear. You have become the architect of reality now. The world bends to your vibration. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when they realize they are no longer simply navigating life, they are shaping it. What once felt random, chaotic, or beyond their control is now responding directly to their energy, their thoughts, their frequency. This is no longer about surviving the dark night of the soul. This is no longer about healing from the past. This is about mastery. This is about stepping into the highest level of creation where reality itself bends to your vibration. At this stage, you no longer look to the outside world for confirmation. You no longer seek signs, you create them. You no longer wait for opportunities, you generate them. The hesitation, the doubt, the fear that once kept you stuck has dissolved because you now understand the truth. Nothing is external. Everything you experience is a reflection of your inner world. And now that your vibration has shifted, now that you have let go of the limitations that once defined you, you have unlocked something that few ever will: the ability to shape the very fabric of existence. But with this power comes responsibility. You can no longer afford to entertain negativity, not because you are avoiding reality, but because you understand that what you focus on expands. Every thought, every emotion, every intention you hold is a frequency, and that frequency is constantly calling things into existence. This is why mastering your mind, mastering your emotions, mastering your energy is no longer optional, it is essential. Because at this level, life is no longer happening to you, you are happening to life. And now, something even more extraordinary begins to unfold. The people, the situations, the opportunities that are meant for you start arriving effortlessly. Things that once seemed difficult now come with ease. The universe no longer feels like an unpredictable force, it feels like an extension of your own consciousness. You think of something and it appears. You set an intention and the path clears. You decide and the world rearranges itself to match your decision. This is not magic. This is not luck. This is the natural law of vibration, and you have finally aligned with it. But here is where many falter. Even after reaching this level, there is one final test, the test of identity. Can you fully embrace that you are no longer the person you once were? Can you release the last remnants of your old self, the last pieces of fear, the last traces of doubt? Because even now, there will be moments when the past tries to pull you back, when old energies try to reattach themselves, when the world tests you to see if you will revert to who you used to be. And this is the moment when you must stand firm. This is the moment when you must declare with absolute certainty that you are no longer available for anything that does not match your highest vibration. This is where you step into full embodiment. No more waiting, no more questioning, no more seeking. You are already everything you need to be. You are already powerful beyond measure. You are already aligned with the greatest version of yourself. The only thing left to do is live it, to walk as the creator, to act as the architect, to move through the world with the knowing that your frequency is the force that shapes reality itself. And now, the final realization dawns upon you. You were never becoming, you were always this. The dark night of the soul did not change you, it revealed you. The suffering, the struggles, the tests were never about breaking you. They were about stripping away everything that was never truly you. And now, here you stand, not as someone who has simply survived, but as someone who has awakened to their true nature, a force of creation, a being of limitless potential, a chosen one fully realized. So now, the only question that remains is this: what will you do with this power? What reality will you create? Because the world is no longer dictating your path. You are. And now, it is time to walk forward, not as a seeker, not as a survivor, but as the master of your own destiny. The time is now. The choice is yours. And the universe is already listening.